No. It's fair to say it has taken time for her to settle in at UCIT. I'm not sure, she says finally. Bit weird. It'd be good to see everyone. Well, almost everyone. Intriguing, says Adam with a laugh. Anything or anyone you need to warn me about? Nah, says Rose, turning to give him a quick grin. I'll let you make your own judgments. The call came in right after they had arrived at the UCIT building on Reservoir Road that morning, asking if they could be at Silverton Street Station for 10 a.m. It had been clear there was no time for small talk from Mac's brisk tone. For a moment, she'd experienced a prickle of worry that it was because she hadn't been in touch since that weird time months ago, but then she realised he was merely busy. She'd been meaning to call for ages, but it was all a bit awkward. Turning up at someone's house, practically incoherent with tears and caked in mud, would do that. Her cheeks prickle with shame when she thinks about that night. The case she'd been working on, involving a missing boy, which ended up unearthing a 50-year-old murder, had taken her on a very dark track about her own complex childhood. She had taken some facts about the birth mother she didn't remember and spun them into a tale that had her digging the back garden at 2 a.m. and looking for her body. She cringes every time she thinks of this. Mac was not only her old colleague, but like a father figure, and had told her only the day before that she mustn't hesitate to ask for help. So, without fully explaining what had happened, she ended up in his spare room, where she slept for 14 hours straight. He hadn't asked questions, knowing her long enough to know that she would tell him about it, in her own good time, if at all. She'd given him a garbled version of events about losing a ring in the garden, and he hadn't really pressed. After 2 days, she moved into a depressing house share in Highgate that was only meant to be temporary, but it hadn't quite panned out that way. Rose sighs, thinking about her miserable living situation. But there's no time for worrying about that now. They pull into the car park at the back of the old red brick building, just off the high road in Haringey. She's back. But does she belong here anymore? Chapter 2. Memories come flooding back as she locks the car and looks up at her old station. There was the woman she once questioned over the suspicious death of her 18-month-old daughter, who finally and calmly admitted drowning her in the bath because she wouldn't stop going on. Or the teenager who stabbed a rival gang member 6 times but looked like the little kid he still was as he sat hunched in the interview room, swinging his feet with oversized trainers back and forth. But most of all, there was the serial killer, James Oakley, who snatched Rose from her own bed, turning an already poor sleeper into someone who was grateful if she got 4 hours a night. But there are good memories here too, like the nights in the pub when they'd closed a case, basking in the sense that she'd finally found a family, and laughing until her stomach hurt with Sam in the kitchen over late-night snacks. At the thought of seeing him again, Rose's insides do an unhelpful flip. It's been ages, she tells herself, getting out of the car and locking it. All that is water under the bridge, isn't it? When they walk into the station, Rose's face splits into a grin at the sight of Omar, the giant of a desk sergeant with a penchant for musicals. "Why, what do my eyes behold?" he says, in his booming baritone, somewhat startling the ratty-faced man in his 20s he appears to be in the middle of processing. "Not you, sunshine," he says. "You're not quite as pleasant to look at. And that's you done, so get yourself out of here now and I'll no doubt be seeing you again very soon." The man doesn't need telling twice and slips past Rose and Adam almost at a run. "Hiya, Omar," she says, as he comes around from the other side of the desk and envelops her in a bone-crusher of a hug, while smiling a greeting at Adam, who grins.